Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to talk about how to approach rate of change word scenarios. The key to doing this is to understand that there's a certain method to approaching these kind of questions. So I want to go through that method list with you real quick, and then we're going to look at some examples. So the first thing that you want to do is mark the text so that you isolate the usable information. Now, this is really important because word scenarios, or word problems as they're most commonly known, have a lot of information, and sometimes it's easy to get drowned by all that. But the truth is that a lot of what you read, you don't need after you're done. So it's good to mark what's important. Number 2, mark the focus question. So when you know what you need to focus on, what your end game is, it makes kind of the process a lot easier. So it's good to mark the focus question. Usually you'll see that somewhere at the end. Number 3, you want to decide how to use the given information to answer the focus question. So now that you know what it is you're supposed to answer, and you've marked hopefully all the information that could possibly be used, you want to decide how you're going to put all this stuff together. Make a plan. You can always change it later. And number 4, you want to explain the answer. This is when you're done, by connecting it to the focus question. So you may have a numeric answer at the end, but if you just leave it as a number and you don't tie it back to the question that it deals with, it's an empty answer, and you want to give your answer a little more substance than that. So with that, let's go ahead and answer the first question. So it says, every hour at work, you're able to ship out the same number of packages. If in the second hour of work you have shipped out 12 packages, and I am going to pause myself here and go ahead and highlight something that I already see as potentially useful. So second hour, and we've already shipped out 12 packages. And then by the 5th hour, you have shipped out 30 packages. So I'm going to mark that 5th hour, 30 packages. And here is the focus question coming right up. So what is the rate at which you ship out packages? So actually, I can go back and highlight just what is the rate. That right there is a summary of the entire focus question. What's the rate at which the packages are shipped out? Now, if you like something more comprehensive, you can just go ahead and highlight or underline that part as well. But I have everything I need. So what I need to do now is make a plan. So here's what I know. I know that I'm dealing with a rate of change question. And rate of change usually involves a comparison of two ideas that work harmoniously together to create one solid sort of overarching idea. So I have time and I have packages. So I have time and I have packages. Now, one way to handle this information is to place the actual value for time in the time slot here in the table. So I have second hour of work, and I have 12 packages, and then in the 5th hour of work, I have 30 packages. Now, this is all I have. So this is actually quite simple. All I need to do is take the information that I am given, and I need to understand by how much these values have changed. So if we look at the number of packages, the number of packages changed from 12 to 30. That would have to be represented as a difference, because change always has to do with a difference of something. So I have 30, but I started with 12. Okay, you could also write this as 12 changing into 30, or 12 minus 30, but I like to put 30 minus 12 here, so I'm going to do that. On the left side, I have 5 minus 2. Now you want to keep the direction the same. So if you're going to say 30 minus 12 here, then you better say 5 minus 2 over there for time, just to keep the same direction. Okay, so the rate of change, which is what we're dealing with here. So the rate of change would be represented as the change in the number of packages. So number of packages versus time. Okay, now because change has to do with subtraction, what I need to do is take whatever I wrote in over here in green, and I'm going to go ahead and simply move this over here, and then I have to take whatever I did with time, which is a 5 minus 2. So I'm going to grab that and move that over here. And what I need to do with these is represent this as a single idea of packages versus time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract these numbers now and show you what I get. So 30 minus 12 is 18, and 5 minus 2 is 3. 18 divided by 3 becomes 6, and that right there, my friends, is the answer that you want. Now, 6 by itself means nothing, so we need to tie it back to the scenario that we're dealing with, which is a comparison of packages over time. So what I want to do is I want to write a quick summary of this using the number 6 and using packages over time. So what this answer means is that 6 packages. So here's a summary. So 6 packages per every hour were shipped out. Okay, and that would be the answer for this one. So you can see that I connected the answer right back to the this whole scenario that was read earlier, and so it makes a lot more sense than just saying 18 divided by 3 equals 6, the end. So let's move on to the next example. So in this one, we have Andy is reading a novel. At 9 a.m. he has read 90 pages. And once again, I have a question regarding time. So I have 9 a.m. and 90 pages. And then at 12 p.m. he has read 300 pages. So I'm going to mark that. What is Andy's average reading speed between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m.? So that right there is the focus question. So what is Andy's average reading speed? You can stop there if you want, or if you need a little more specificity, you could just keep going all the way to the end. That whole sentence right there is your focus question. So we have to answer what his average reading speed is, knowing the times and the number of pages that he was at those times. So once again, this is involving a comparison of time versus something else. In this case, it's time versus number of pages. So we have time versus number of pages. Okay. All right. Now I can get rid of the verses there. So it's just a nice clean T-chart. So we have 9 a.m. I'm just going to put that as 9. And then at 9 a.m., there were 90 pages, right? He has read 90 pages. And then we jumped forward to 12 p.m. and he's read 300 pages. So what I need to do is I need to explain by how much this changed. And so I need to consider that it's not only the number of pages that changed, but it's also the amount of time that has changed as well. So, and in fact, it's the pages changed because he was reading consistently as time went on. So anyway, this is 300 minus 90, and this would be 12 minus 9. Okay, so I'm going to write that the rate of change in this case, so rate of change here has to do with a comparison of the number of pages read versus time in, and we're looking at time in hours. Okay, because we went from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So that's a difference right there. So what we're going to do is what we did last time. We're going to take this 300 minus 90, and we're going to move it right there. So this represents by how much the number of pages have changed from one time to another. And then we're going to take this 12 minus 9. We're going to move that over here, and that represents the amount of time that has taken place while Andy read. So he read from 9 to 12. And so we get an answer when we subtract these numbers. So 12 minus 9 is 3, and 300 take away 90 is 210. So if you divide 210 by 3, what you get is just a nice 70, and that would be the answer. Once again, like last time, you don't want to leave it alone like that, because 70 by itself means absolutely nothing, and it's just the answer to the division of 210 by 3. What you want to do is you want to go back and say, all right, this 70 has to do with the number of pages that were read every hour, and that was the focus question that we highlighted here in pink. So what I need to do is write a sentence explaining this. So here I go. So I'm going to say that here's my summary. My summary will be that Andy read 70 pages each hour. Okay, so each hour he read 70 pages, which is not bad at all. All right, that's the second question. Let's go on to the third and final one. Here we go. So it says, every hour a runner is able to run the same number of miles. If on his third hour of running he has gone 15 miles, so I'm going to highlight that. So his third hour, 15 miles. And then on his fifth hour, highlight that, he's gone 25 miles. So here's coming up is a focus question. So what is the rate at which he runs? What is the rate? You can stop there, or at which he runs, you can continue all the way to the end. It's important to note one thing over here. They did bother to indicate that in that first sentence that the runner is able to run the same number of miles every hour. So same number of miles every hour. So that consistency is key here, because if a runner were to change the way that they run, speeding up or slowing down or stopping and then continuing later on, we would have a very different situation on our hands. So that consistency will make this a lot easier to work with. So I think by now you might have this figured out, but we are once again comparing time, and this time it's time versus distance. So it's time versus distance. Okay, so distance being in miles and time being in hours. So let's see what we have. So we have the third hour. In the third hour, he's gone 15 miles. And in the fifth hour, that same runner has gone 25 miles. So if I think about how this is changing, this is 25 minus 15, right? That would tell me by how many miles of a change there has been. Likewise over here, this will be 5 minus 3. That simply tells us by how many hours we have been running. Okay, so what I need to do is write down the rate of change So rate of change is about, this time it's about distance in miles over time in hours. So it's basically whatever I have in the table over, over here and over there. I simply put them as a fraction over here because I'm representing these two ideas. So let's go ahead and continue. So I'm going to grab the 25 minus 15. That takes place in the numerator. This takes place in the denominator. And I'm going to be dividing this. Oops, let me do a better job over there. So I'm going to divide these two. And I need to go ahead and get an answer for this. So this 25 minus 15 is 10. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So this gives an answer of 5. And so what I want to do, like I did in the previous two examples, is take this 5, bring it back to the focus question over there, see what it is that I'm supposed to actually answer, which was, what is a rate at which he runs? Well, I got 5, so I need to summarize this, and my summary will say something like this. The summary will say that the runner ran 5 miles each hour. Okay, or 5 miles per hour. You can also say 5 miles per hour if you wish, because some of us like to talk about speed of movement in terms of miles per hour, because we understand that through the context of a car. So anyway, I hope these 3 examples helped you better understand how to approach rate of change questions. There are other types of questions related to rate of change, such as pulling information from a graph, but we're not looking at those in this video. I will make a video about that some other time, so please watch out for that. And stop by and leave a comment. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.